Welcome to the Geek Envy Podcast, episode 40. My name is Joey, and this podcast is about video games, geek culture, and anything else we feel like talking about. I'm here with Courtney and that guy who fell asleep last time.
I'm back.
And didn't make it to the show.
I'm here.
Are you rested now?
Or, in the words of All Might, I am here.
Oh, that's so good.
Joey, you gotta watch My Hero Academia.
Yeah,
I binged it over the last 3 days.
At some point.
I'm so proud of you, Matt.
Well,
I feel like we actually are connecting.
I binged it up until Hulu switched over to subs, and I was like, I don't want to read this. And so I stopped then.
I do appreciate dubbing.
I'll wait till the dubs come. I can't. I have to pay attention too hard.
And the dub for My Hero is really good.
Yeah, it is good.
But you're going to miss all the little wordplay and...
I don't care. It doesn't matter.
Funny little Japanese
He's not
jokes.
that much of a weeb, Joey.
Damn. That's
No, I say that with love. I'm here too.
I am kind of that much of a weeb, so... But anyways.
Apparently not.
Well, in my younger days, I was like that, but now it's just like the dub's easier. As long as the dub is not like so bad that it's taking me out of the show, I am okay.
He's a multitasker now.
Well, also, like, I got a kid, and like sometimes I like to like build a model or something while I'm watching something, and I can't look down with a sub because then I'd miss it.
See, I agree with that, because I do feel like I get to this point where I'm like, oh, I'm just watching something. I feel like I'm wasting time. So I like to kind of do something else, even if it's just play a game, which is also wasting time.
Yeah, or like cross-stitch.
Yes.
Oh, there you go.
Hey, where's my cross-stitch?
I gotta find that. Yeah, I'm working on a Hatsune Miku for Joey. It's gonna be beautiful.
I got a place on the wall set aside for it already. Get to it.
Pics or it didn't happen.
There will be pictures.
Cross-stitching.
I mean, there's I think on my Instagram somewhere there's like one or two of the cross stitches I've done. I like to.
Well, anyways,
it helped.
Back to the show, which is what people are listening for.
They're here for the personalities.
Yeah, that too. We did it. We got to episode 40, another landmark episode, and
Whoop, whoop.
And we lost our fourth person, or I guess third person. Eric's not here, but he's aware of that. And see you next time, Eric.
He's probably sleeping.
Probably. Everybody needs a break. Courtney, why don't I hand off to you so you can recap our last episode?
All right. Well, last episode we were talking about our video game memories. We talked about the first through sixth generation of consoles. This involved home consoles and handheld consoles. And what are firsts, some of our gaming firsts. And now we're going to actually catch up with Matt and go through his first systems and some of his most memorable games, since last week Matt was the one who was asleep.
I was asleep.
So
I set up my mic and everything on my computer and I fell asleep.
Excuses. You weren't there when we needed you.
Man.
You're like the Avatar. When we needed you most, you vanished.
So hey, were there any big upsets last week? Since I totally listened to the podcast.
No, we basically it was the story
like Eric
of Joey's childhood.
Crazy, you know?
We found out that Eric basically got hand-me-downs like his entire life.
Oh.
It was a little tragic.
Oh man.
But
everybody needs a tragic backstory.
Yeah.
That's why Eric's not here. He's taking a break. He's taking some much needed time off.
A mental health day.
Yeah, so from the podcast. Yeah. So should I just jump right in? Is that what you guys did? Just talk about?
Yes. Yeah. Go ahead and give us your systems that you had growing up and your games.
Way back in the early 90s, back in the day, you could say. My first system was a Game Gear that I got as either a birthday or Christmas gift. I can't remember which. But I used to take that on car trips, and I have fond memories of the amount of AA batteries I had to bring with me to play through games.
How did this even come about? Like, how do you get a Game Gear as your first
That's
system?
what my parents got me. Like, I don't even remember if I was interested in video games at the time or not, but I know I like Sonic, and so they got me a Game Gear, and I like Sonic. So I played Sonic 2, I think it was, a lot of Sonic 2. And the only other game I really remember playing was Star Wars Return of the Jedi. Like, it was like Super Star Wars Return of the Jedi. I think it was also on SNES.
Yes, and I think
Genesis,
there was
maybe?
a Game Boy one too.
Yeah, but that game was super hard. Like, I could only get to the second level. I don't think I ever got past the second level, but I played the first 2 levels a lot.
That was most games back then.
Yeah. So, and I used to make fun of those people who had the Game Boy because I was like, mine's in color.
Do you think your parents were a little more like chill after your experience with the Game Gear, like more open to getting you games and stuff?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like right after that, they got us the N64, and we played a lot of Mario 64 because that's what everyone played when they first got an N64. And then I got into a couple other games. Like I was really into Star Wars, so I played a lot of Rogue Squadron and a lot of Shadows of the Empire. Actually, Shadows of the Empire, I think I've beaten that game like 20 times, probably more. There was this game by Rockstar called Space Station Silicon Valley that I was really into. That was super glitchy. It had like some like game-breaking bugs in it, but you were like this robot that went to this world. You crash landed on it, and you could like pop out of your body, and you were like this little like computer chip with legs. And then you could like kill one of the animals, which were robots supposedly, and then like go inside their body and then be that animal, and then you got like new powers, and you had to get through the level, and it was like crazy. It was like one of the really early Rockstar games, actually.
This is like my slime anime, but with robots.
Yeah,
It sounds cool.
yeah. So it's I kind of wish they'd make another one because it's cool. I don't know if it would work now without like the hokey N64 graphics. But I played a lot of Zelda, so a lot of Ocarina of Time and a lot of Majora's Mask.
Very nice.
Yeah, this was before the days when I was into RPGs, but Zelda like was kind of RPG themed. Then I got a PlayStation. I saved up for it with my own money, but it took me a while to save up for that PlayStation with my own money, so it was a PS1. Not a PlayStation. If you remember the little like mini PS1, it was like small.
Oh, the little.
I think it came out like when PS2
one.
came out. Yeah.
Yeah, that one was cool.
So I had that one, and there's this girl I liked who like her brother I guess played like Final Fantasy VIII a lot, and so like I went to Blockbuster to get that game, you know, because I was gonna like play that game because this girl.
Bad
and
idea.
I picked up Final Fantasy IX instead because I forgot which one it was. But that game was also awesome. And then I got Final Fantasy VIII and bought both of them, and they were both amazing. And that's what got me into playing RPGs. And then after that, I actually, around that same time, I met my best friend for high school, and he was really into RPGs, him and his brother. And so then we kind of like they were really into Xenogears. I started playing Xenogears. I've always been a fan of like Harvest Moon games since the 64, and Back to Nature was probably the one I logged the most hours in. That was probably the best. I would say that's the best Harvest Moon game that's been made. Sorry, I feel like I'm going through this too fast. You guys got any comments?
No,
questions?
keep going.
All right.
No.
Game Boy Advance, I don't really remember. Or Game Boy Color, I didn't have one. I didn't have a Game Boy either. Game Boy Advance, I did get that when it came out. I actually convinced my sister that she needed one, and so she had a pink Game Boy Advance, and she got it for like her birthday or Christmas. And then I like played a lot of it.
Wait, what was she like really into that she missed out on?
I don't know, like she played it too.
Because you forced her to get.
I don't know, like that's what you do to little siblings. You're like,
That's
hey, this is the
terrible.
best thing. You should get it, and then like you get to benefit and like reap the rewards.
Yes. Yes.
So I played a lot of Mario Tennis on that, which I don't know if you've played the Game Boy Color or Game Boy Advance Mario Tennis, but Camelot made it, which is a famous maker of like RPGs on, I think, mainly like Sega consoles. I think they made like Shining. I think they made the Shining games. But it has a RPG overworld, and you're a little guy, and then the Mario characters are like different bosses in the world. So it was like really cool. Mario Tennis game. They also made Golden Sun. I played that a lot too. And then I didn't really play anything else. I didn't play a lot of Game Boy Advance, but later on I came back to the Game Boy Advance just because there were a lot of gems there, and I got really into Fire Emblem and Castlevania games on Game Boy Advance. And that's actually been fairly recent with Castlevania. Like Aria of Sorrow I beat this year.
So you didn't actually play the original Pokemon games?
No.
Or did you? You did
I
not.
watched the show.
Yeah.
So the society I grew up in believed that Pokemon was based on Dungeons and Dragons, which was based on Satan.
Ah, okay.
Satan
Yes.
Gotcha.
himself.
So there's a little shying away in the younger years of Pokemon, but later on I was pretty into it. I think the first one I really got into was whatever the first one was on DS.
Pearl and Diamond, maybe?
I think so. Yeah. But anyways, that brings us to DS. The games I played the most on DS.
I'm not sure.
Sorry, that was Alexa. Alexa, please stop. No. You're not part of this podcast.
Starring Alexa.
She's not sure. On DS, I played a lot of Castlevania Dawn of Sorrow. That was actually probably my first Castlevania game I ever played. A lot of Shin Megami Tensei Strange Journey. I really, really like that game. It's also got a great port on 3DS if you want to get back into that. And that's actually where I got into Chrono Trigger as well. Like, that's the first time I ever played Chrono Trigger because I didn't have an SNES. But I always heard about it, and so when it came out on DS, I bought it, and it was amazing. I think I owned it on whatever that PlayStation 1 was, but I never played it. Oh, you know what happened? Someone stole it out of my... I lent it to a friend, and he stole Chrono Trigger out of it.
What a
So
jerk.
I only had whatever the other one was. I think Final Fantasy V. So, anyways. Then GameCube. I played a lot of Super Smash Bros., as we all did back then. Also, GameCube was kind of just on the cusp of college, so there was a lot of Super Smash Bros. Tournaments going on. I played a lot of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance. That's my favorite Fire Emblem game. I kind of wish that they would port that to the Switch. Yeah.
They will.
And then I don't know, like Fire Emblem is like kind of weird about like what comes
That's
back.
true.
Also Nintendo is kind of weird. So
Nintendo is weird.
Resident Evil 4 was a big one on GameCube for me. So that game, I borrowed it from a friend in high school, and I literally think I didn't stop playing it for the entire weekend. I just played it all through in like one sitting, pretty much. I think there may have been some sleeping that happened, but yeah, that game was awesome. Tales of Symphonia was a big one. I remember it was like kind of a big deal at the time that like Lloyd was voiced by Robin from Teen Titans, so that's a big deal.
Heck yeah.
Also, that's when I got into Metal Gear Solid, because I never really played it on PlayStation, but the Twin Snakes came out, and so I played that remake, and I got all into Metal Gear Solid at that time. Then the PSP. Pretty much just played Final Fantasy, Crisis Core, and Birth by Sleep. I had all the other games, but I don't really think I played them that much. Like all the other RPGs. I think I bought all of the RPGs, and then did not play them. So yeah. And then PS2 was like RPG heaven for me, more so than the PlayStation 1. I played a lot of Final Fantasy X. Actually, I used to make anime music videos of Final Fantasy X before I had it, to like
Nice.
POD or
Oh, God.
stuff like that. And then I also played a lot of the first Xenosaga game. I have the second and third one, but I never beat the first one. I always get like 30 to 40 hours in and then don't play it anymore. I got really into Shadow Hearts. Shadow Hearts is probably my favorite RPG on the PS2. Probably in my top 5 favorite RPGs of all time, especially the first one. The second one is also very good, but the first one, it's just a perfect game. It's so good. It kind of blends, like, it's creepy yet darkly funny, and it just goes places that other games don't. It's set in, I think, like just before World War One, but it's like a fantasy RPG, so it's interesting. I played a lot of Suikoden 3 and 5 then as well. I didn't like 4 so much, so I didn't play much of that. But 3 and 5, like, those games are both also perfect in my mind. Played a lot of Kingdom Hearts, Metal Gear Solid 2 and 3, which Metal Gear Solid 3 is the best Metal Gear game ever. Played a lot of Dragon Quest 8, and then Persona 4 came out at the very end of that lifespan, but I got really into Persona 4. Like, really into it. I think I've actually played through that game like 3 or 4 times now. So.
Oh, dang.
But yeah, that's my quick catch me up last week's podcast.
Awesome. Well, thank you. And that will bring us into our current episode. Well, not that that wasn't part of the episode, but our current generations, both 7th and 8th generation. Joey and I will now hop back in.
Hop in.
So hop on in. We're going to start with the Xbox 360, which released November 22nd in 2005. So, Joey, why don't you tell us about your Xbox 360 experiences?
I got this at a weird time. Like, I didn't get it initially, so I didn't really, like, any time I played it, it was just, I was in the middle of college, and it was just with friends around the dorm and who owned the system. So we played a lot of Halo, Gears of War, and then not even until I moved out of Texas did I play Team Fortress 2. This was kind of a
That's all you
system.
Played on Halo?
Yeah, it's kind of a system.
360.
Yeah, I didn't own one until I actually moved away, and then like got into Xbox a little more.
How about you, Matt?
So I didn't get it right away because I couldn't afford it at the time. But then I got it when the PlayStation 3 was already released, and I was trying to decide between the two. And at the time, there wasn't very much for PlayStation 3. And I was going to go PlayStation because I only play JRPGs. And at the time, like, Xbox was making this JRPG push. Like, they announced a bunch of exclusive JRPGs, like Blue Dragon, and then I think Eternal Sonata was one that they announced, and maybe there was one more. I can't remember. But based on that, I was like, all right.
There was that first shitty one, remember?
What was it? There was something. There was something. Yeah. It was like Spectral Souls or something. I don't know.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Eternal something. I don't know.
But yeah, so I was like, oh man, I have to get a 360. Like, Microsoft is going to make it big in Japan. It's happening. This is it. So I bought it, and it was a good system. Like, I liked it. Like, some of my favorite games of that generation came out on it. Tales of Vesperia being one of them, which is one of the few games, like, not until I got, I want to say older, not until like the last couple of years, I should say, I actually like beat games. I would always play to like the end or until I got bored. But Tales of Vesperia, I beat that game. Fable 2, nice. I also beat that game. Like, I beat Fable 2 to the point where I owned every property in the game, and like there was nothing else I could do in the game. Literally nothing else. Like, I had everything. But that game was really cool. I also enjoyed Lost Odyssey a lot. It's kind of like a somber type game, like a bunch of immortal people who like just like really want to die. And Dead or Alive 3, I played a lot of that, so that was my fighting game kick then. But yeah, what about you, Courtney?
I actually had a 360 before I had a PlayStation, and I had the 360 pretty early in its life, which I can't say for the PlayStation or the Wii, which I would later acquire at the end of their lives. Obviously, I was big into Halo when they first came out, and Gears of War. Both of those were exclusives to the 360. Gears of War and Halo are fabulous in the fact that I beat them multiple times with people next to me because they were couch co-op, which I feel like is slowly kind of... Well, it's coming back more than it has been, but I feel like recently the couch co-op hasn't been as popular. So it was kind of nice to have a couple games that you could just invite a friend over and sit and play through a whole game together without it being competitive. I played Fable 3, which got me back into my RPG kick.
So you played Fable 3 before Fable 2?
I did, actually. And I didn't realize that until I just looked it up, because I thought I played Fable 2, but I actually played Fable 3 before I played any of the Fables. And it was back, when I first started working at GameStop, and I was like, man, I'm going to check this out. And I ended up checking it out for longer than I was supposed to have it checked out. And I got reprimanded, but luckily I still kept my job. And then I later would play The Walking Dead, the Telltale version, which is also amazing, and Red Dead Redemption, and also Skyrim.
I forgot that Skyrim came out on 360.
I know, it's crazy. Yeah. It's because Skyrim is still coming out. And then Left 4 Dead, which was another fun co-op, couch co-op. And I believe the first BioShock came out for 360. I wasn't sure, but it did.
Oh, yeah, I played it on that. I forgot about that
and
one.
That BioShock 1, 2, and, oh gosh, what's the recent one?
Redemption?
No.
Infinite.
Thank you. BioShock Infinite all came out on the Xbox 360. So, yeah, the 360 had a pretty big place in my heart. So, I guess, unless you guys have any comments, we'll move on to the PlayStation 3.
See.
No? All right. The PlayStation 3 released on November 11th in 2006, which gave it a year to catch up or behind the Xbox's release, which means the PlayStation had to play catch up, which I believe is probably kind of what had the PlayStation 3 losing that generation of console wars. So we'll go back to Joey. What was some of the games that you played on PlayStation 3?
Well, I picked up the PS3 on release day. Stood outside a local Walmart, and then we only had shitty TVs back then still, so I had to go also buy like a flat screen TV. Which was
the suffering.
I had to do that with the 360 because you like put it on your shitty TV and then like all the words were too small and you're like, I can't read anything. It's terrible.
It was the first time I'd own a flat, like a really nice TV. Anyways, college loan money. That's what you get with that. But yeah, I picked up. There were a few like early games that I don't know, kind of just like were on PlayStation 3. Like there was a really good boxing game, which I can't remember the name of now. There was also
Final Fight.
No, I don't think it was
Fight Night.
Fight Night. There you go. It was like the graphics were amazing in that game.
There was like sweat and stuff. I remember the sweat.
Yeah, you could like punch and you could like feel the impact. And then there was that same shitty RPG that was on 360 that was on PlayStation 3, and I didn't have a 360, so I owned that on PlayStation 3.
Oh, I remember. No, I don't.
I'm pretty sure it's like Eternal Souls or something.
It's coming to me. It's like Enchanted. No.
Yep.
Little known fact, that's a From Software game.
Oh, really?
Is it really?
Yeah.
Dang. Started from the bottom.
Yeah.
It exists.
Oh, God, I have to look up what that's called. Because I know what you're talking about.
I think it is
Yeah.
Enchanted.
Enchanted
Hold on.
something.
From
No, it's straight up Enchanted.
software
Right?
RPG.
But I'll continue till you find it.
Enchanted Arms.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, From Software made that. From Software made a lot of like shitty RPGs back in the day. Like they made Lost Kingdoms. I don't know if you guys remember that game on GameCube.
Yeah.
Or like Evergrace on PS2, and Eternal Ring on PS2. They like made a lot of like really crappy RPGs.
Those
for
are
a
like
while.
the budget
Hot
RPGs.
damn.
Yeah, the only one that got like big back then was like Kingsfield. Got a little bit of press, but they took a while to get big.
Yeah. But yeah, the PlayStation 3 really lasted me like a long time. I played it all the way through college, and then like 5 years through post-college
Manhood.
early career stuff. So I played Final Fantasy 13. I really liked that one, even though it was like people shat on it for being fairly straightforward. I thought that actually was a benefit to the game.
I actually like that game too.
That's my favorite.
I don't know if I'd say favorite.
Well, no, it's my favorite. I stand by that.
Oh, that's fair.
That's fair.
It's wrong.
Wait, no,
It's
I'm
wrong,
sorry.
but
I'm
it's
thinking of
fair.
12. No, I'm thinking of 12, not 13. 13 has
okay.
lightning.
It's okay.
Yeah.
12 is also wrong, but it's fine.
Fuck you.
And then
8's the best. Just
And
just
then
saying.
I enjoyed the short games that I can't remember any names today. I think I'm tired too.
This is why we wrote a list.
Let me see. Ah, yes.
Describe the
Yeah.
game.
All the Kodakuwa games that were coming out then,
The what?
like Lollipop Chainsaw.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
That other one that he did nothing is gonna come into my brain.
The one where you like go through
Literally.
hell,
Yes.
or No More Heroes, maybe.
No, not well. No More Heroes wasn't terrible, but it wasn't.
It was the one
that
when you go to
good
hell
either.
and it was like a.
It was another like Shadow something game, whatever. And then Catherine came out, and I really enjoyed that. I got back into a JRPG kick after Final Fantasy 13 by picking up some Neptunia games, and then got really into like the Nisa
He got
period.
got
of
really
games.
into Moe.
Really into shitty JRPGs after that.
We all have our bottom of the barrel moments.
Yep. But yeah, this console, like I still have it hooked up and went back, a year ago to like play through all the old Yakuza games.
I
So
still got mine hooked up too.
yeah, like, I
Same.
love the PlayStation.
I still got my PS2 hooked up.
Yes, me too. So I guess I'll kick it off from there. I did not get a PlayStation 3, like I said earlier, until much later. I probably didn't get the PlayStation 3 until 2012, if I remember correctly, so I had a lot of catching up to do. Heavy Rain was one of the first games I picked up, and I have no regrets for that because that was a fabulous game, and I had played that before I played the Telltale Walking Dead, I believe, and it was kind of my first, like, that just showed me that games were just as good, if not better, than movies, and the fact that it's an interactive experience and you're immersed, and your actions had consequences, and it was just a painful ride, but it was a good pain. And I ended up playing a lot of Rune Factory Tides of Destiny on the PlayStation 3.
That game
which was
kind of sucked, but
what,
I really
Tides of
liked
Destiny?
it. Yeah. Yeah.
I agree. It actually isn't that good of a game.
It's like the worst Rune Factory game, but I think
It
I played
is.
it the most.
Yes, it just was. I don't know if it was just the only Rune Factory I could pick up at the moment because somebody had told me it was similar to Harvest Moon, but like more science fiction fantasy. So I was like, yeah, sign me up. I love Harvest Moon. So Tides of Destiny was the one I could pick up, and so I ended up playing that a lot. Also, The Last of Us had come out for the PlayStation 3 as an exclusive, which is amazing. Another game that has a really deep story with a lot of complex characters and really awful, not black and white scenarios, like it just kind of questions your morals.
I still have not played that game.
It's a fabulous game, and you should really play it before the second one comes out, which I guess you probably still have like a year, but still.
So you'd like it.
PlayStation 5.
If you played through all the Uncharted games, like just play through that.
Yeah, you'll like The Last of Us for sure.
It's got a
if you like
similar
Uncharted.
control style,
Cool.
but it's better.
And then I
not as
actually
happy,
played
though.
Nier. Yeah, it's not. I played Nier probably 2 years ago. I played it before Nier Automata released, and that was super amazing as well. And that was probably the last game I actually beat on the PlayStation 3.
That's the best game on PS3, in my opinion.
It probably is my favorite. Oh, well, I don't know. Heavy Rain is still one of my favorites. But so with that, we will move on to the Wii, which released
Hold on,
November 19th.
I didn't talk about my games.
No, fuck you, Matt. Let's keep going.
I'm
I
just,
thought we went through
I'm
you.
just gonna go
Sorry.
back to sleep.
I'm sorry. I thought we already went through you. We went through Joey, and then I meant to do you after Joey. I'm sorry. Look, we're all tired.
I'm awake.
Matt's like, I'm awake. I want
I
to
was
talk
more
about.
tired last time.
Yeah. All right, Matt. What did you play on the PlayStation 3? What were your memories?
So I mean, we've named a
Oh,
bunch
God.
of them.
Take forever, Matt.
I will say, Nier is the best game on PlayStation 3, hands down.
Yes.
I got that game when it released. I knew pretty much nothing about it other than that it was Square Enix and it was from Japan, so I was going to buy it. Except I didn't have money at the time because I was in college. So
Did you not play Drakengard or whatever beforehand?
I didn't-
Because I hadn't either.
I played Drakengard 1 and 2, yeah. But like
Before you played Nier?
I didn't really
Okay.
link that they were linked at the time. Like I knew it was the same developer, but I didn't realize that like Nier is from one of the weird endings of Drakengard.
Spoiler alert.
I mean, okay, it's an old game.
Only a decade late.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, Air's dies, guys.
No.
But so I didn't have money, so there was like these weird websites that you could go to that you could like make credit apps, and then they gave you credits, and then you could get rewards. And so I did like a couple credit apps. Don't know if it hurt my credit or not, but got a free video
Wait,
game out of it, guys. I had
Oh, wow.
What game
that's
was that?
also how I
Worth
got
it.
Resident Evil 5. So
Nice.
wasn't the only game, but I got Nier. So best credit apps I ever did. Got Nier.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Wish I had known about that.
I also really liked Lollipop Chainsaw, like Joey. I got really into Dark Souls at the time and Demon Souls. So those games kind of were something new that I hadn't experienced before, and kind of like a new genre that I really got into. And at first I was kind of daunted because everyone was like, oh, it's the hardest games ever. But then they're really not. It's just about learning the patterns and then leveling up. So also Valkyria Chronicles was a pretty big one for me then. I had a big poster of it on my wall and everything. I was really into that game. Like the I don't know, like the pastel art style, or it looked like a painting. And also I feel like it kind of links into how I like Fire Emblem, because Fire Emblem, it's like very character driven. The story's kind of predictable, but the characters are what makes it, and that's how Valkyria Chronicles was. And I played a lot of the Uncharted games because it was like, Indiana Jones pretty much. But
Right.
yeah, that is that.
Now, I'm sorry. Now we'll go to the Wii.
Hold on.
No.
Hold on. Now
What?
we can go to the Wii. I did it. I moved it
You
on.
had to give the handout.
Yes.
Okay. You had to pass that baton. All right, Matt. Thank you for that baton. We're going to go to the Wii.
I was giving the
released
baton to
November
Joey.
19th, 2006, which means it came out only a couple days after the PlayStation 3 release. I don't even remember how I acquired a Wii. But Joey, tell us about your Wii experiences.
I remember how I acquired a Wii.
I remember how you required one.
Acquired one. November 11th, I picked up the PlayStation 3. 8 days later, I still had college loan money.
Oh, you rich
and
Rich boy.
went back to Walmart. I had the new TV, and picked up the Wii, and I was like immediately gonna flip it because they were going for like crazy prices. But I'm not that type of dude. Like,
are you not that type of dude?
I'm
Do
not.
you really know you're not that type of dude?
I've never flipped anything in my life. It's just if I buy something, I'm gonna use it. So I got that and Twilight Princess on release day, and then brought it home. And then like after 2 days of wondering if I was gonna flip it, I was like, no, I need to play this game.
And that's a great release title to have for a Nintendo console.
Yeah, I remember coming back to my shared apartment, and my roommate was in my room playing Fishing and Twilight Princess, and I was like, oh man, they got it right with this one. Because it was a really fun, weird system that both required power and batteries. And so I owned a few niche games, but I was kind of more into the PS3 and trying to, graduate college. So I didn't really pick up much other than like Twilight Princess, and then they had a Trauma Center on there, which was somehow even harder to control than the DS one.
What do you mean somehow?
Make a star real quick with the stupid baton. And then that was pretty much it for me on the Wii. I really liked the system as a whole. I liked how small it was. I liked how I didn't feel like I didn't get into the whole JRPG series of games that came out for it, and I feel bad about that. And I need to go back and play them all because I feel like I missed out on like 3 really good JRPGs on that system.
Yeah, me too. So what did you have for the Wii, Mr. Matt, who I won't skip this time?
So I went to Best Buy at like the crack of dawn and waited in the parking lot, and everyone said I'd have to wait in line, but I just walked in and bought one. It was a good time.
Yeah, that's how the Walmart was too, like pretty chill.
Yeah, like everyone was freaking out then, and I just was like, I'm just gonna go right when they open. I got there like 10 minutes before they open, walked in when the doors open, grabbed a Wii. So, I think the Wii was cool. I really like Xenoblade Chronicles and The Last Story. Mm-hmm. I also played this game called Fortune Street, which I think is the only time that this game has come to America. There's a series called Itadaki Street in Japan, which has Final Fantasy and Dragon Quest characters usually, and it's kind of like a Monopoly type of board game where you buy properties, and if people land on them, they have to pay for them. It also made a comeback in Birth by Sleep, if you played that. It's like the command board, it's called.
Yes.
But Fortune Street has Dragon Quest characters and Nintendo characters, and my wife and I actually played like a ton of that game. I still have it, and sometimes we still like bust it out and play, so it's still a good time.
Oh.
But yeah.
That's awesome. I had a Wii, and I felt like I had a Wii for a long time, and I guess I played Smash on it, and Animal Crossing. Pretty much were the only 2 games I can really recall playing much of on the Wii.
Animal Crossing? Like, I feel like diving into another Animal Crossing since I'm waiting so freaking long for Nintendo to make another.
I like the Animal Crossing. If you're gonna pick one, the DS one is a little bit better.
Wild World was better than, what was it? Something City Folk?
City Folk, which Folk is the one that I... What is that? Yeah, I didn't put as much time into the Wii Animal Crossing as I did the 3DS Animal Crossing or the GameCube Animal Crossing.
Yeah, the GameCube one is the one you should really get if you're looking to do that.
There you go. Go on the way back machine. Well, the Wii, I forgot to mention, did play some GameCube games, though I believe that it's hard to find the Wiis that do play Nintendo games, because I believe it's only like the first model.
Yeah, it's like the first white one.
Is backwards compatible. Mm-hmm.
I have it. I actually have 2.
Of course you do. Give it to me. No. So you can play the original Animal Crossing if you have the first model of the Wii.
Actually, so that's the best way to play GameCube, I think, now, if you don't emulate, because the GameCube doesn't output in HD, and the Wii does, so you can use
That's true.
You can use that HDMI cable or component. You can use component.
Yeah, that was one of the downsides of the Wii at the time. I remember having both systems and being like, oh wait, I can't use the HDMI.
Yeah.
With this Wii system I just bought. What the heck?
The GameCube has a component cable, but it's super rare, so it's like $150 or more. It's probably more now. That was the last time I checked. And it has actually a device in it that's proprietary or something, so like no one's reproduced it.
Yeah, if one ever comes into your store, which won't be named, Courtney, grab it.
I named it earlier.
Oh,
without thinking.
I'll edit it out.
Oh, there we go. So yeah, that ends me. Sadly, I didn't, like I said, have too many good Wii memories. And I'm with you, Joey. I feel like there's a lot of JRPGs that I missed on the Wii that I would like to go back and play. So hopefully we'll
honestly,
have that
the last
opportunity.
story, Fire Emblem, Xenoblade are the ones that are worth playing.
But the Xenoblade is ported to the 3DS, which is our next system.
Yeah, but that's like so blurry, man. So blurry.
All right. Well, the next system on the list is the Nintendo 3DS, which was released March 2005 or 2011. I'm sorry, 2011. Which is our first handheld, reliable handheld in a while, and our first Nintendo console in a while. So, Joey, let's talk about your first 3DS.
I was honestly really excited when they announced this, because it's been a long time. Like, I was playing games here and there, but it's always exciting to get a new system. It kind of recharges you again with that same, like, feeling of, like, new games. So I picked it up when it released, the original like blue clamshell that they put out, and played some of the first games that were out. I think like Pilot Wings was out. I think I picked up that, and I don't know what else at the time. And I was sold on the 3D like pretty immediately, even though people complain about it, which I understand.
It hurts my head.
It doesn't hurt my. I get
headaches.
I get motion sick.
I don't play with the 3D on.
I get motion sick really easily, so I thought this was gonna mess me up too, but it's perfectly fine with me. And of course, like the later iterations just made it better. So I love the 3D aspect of it, and was pretty annoyed and kind of turned off when they basically removed it from most of the future, games in the later life of the system.
I feel like the more time I play with that 3D slider on, that's like the closer I'm getting to blindness. Like that time is just
yeah, my vision is already really crappy.
That's why they tell you to take like breaks every 15
Listen,
minutes.
I don't want to take breaks when I play video games.
Right.
I just want to play
I'm binge
video games.
playing. Right.
But yeah, I really enjoyed the system. I probably owned like 15 different. Nintendo released like 1,000 different versions of the 3DS.
Mm-hmm. They released one not that long ago, another version. So
and they're all like the same. They're all appealing in some way.
Yeah, they are.
And they were at a good enough price point to where I could buy my spouse one. So her and I played a lot of Animal Crossing together, and I played a lot of Pokemon on it, of course. And I don't know. This is a fun little system still.
It is. It's a great system that I think all of us probably have more recently than we're aware about a game for.
Yep.
How about you, Matt?
I bought my first 3DS off one of my friends who bought it at launch, and I bought it right when that ambassador thing was announced. Because he wasn't playing it anymore, and so I wanted like one that would get all the free games.
Yeah. Still got my whatever it's called. They give you that little.
It's like a badge.
Yeah.
So, my most memorable 3DS games are probably the Fire Emblem games, because I was already pretty into Fire Emblem, and then it kind of kicked it up to the next notch and got like super kind of anime-ish, which a lot of people who are old Fire Emblem fans kind of crap on, but I'm okay with it. Also voice acting and all that stuff. It was cool. Then I also got really into the Monster Hunter games in that generation. So I played a lot of Monster Hunter 4 and Monster Hunter Generations. They kind of scratched that Dark Souls itch a little bit of kind of like learning a move set and becoming an expert at it and then playing it. But yeah, so
Nice.
I feel like I've played more, like, because I had all those Game Boy games on the 3DS from that Master program. I think one of the Fire Emblem games was on there. I played more like, Game Boy games on 3DS than I did actually the 3DS games.
Funny how that works. So was that
was
all
it.
your 3DS games?
Yes. That's it. So just wanted to throw this out there. So there was a game I was really excited about. Like really, really excited about. Like
what game was it?
I bought the special edition and I shelled out a lot of money for it. And then I hated it.
Wait, I don't think there's that many expensive special editions on the 3DS.
It was Bravely Default, but
I actually got the special edition of Bravely Default as well, but I didn't hate it.
I just can't get into those games. But anyways,
there's a lot of
burned me.
RPGs on the 3DS which were technically good, but also
you don't enjoy them.
A little dry.
I agree.
You don't have to agree.
No, I agree that they're
they're
not
agreeing. I think she knows what she can or can't do.
I'm a free woman. So I just played a lot of Animal Crossing New Leaf. Like, it was, for the first half of me owning a 3DS, it was a Animal Crossing machine.
It was so good.
It really was.
That game
and
was
it just was comfy.
The game was, he was just saying it was addicting. I was playing it at work. Like, it was in my pocket at work, and I'd be like, shit.
It was with me everywhere. Traveling, home, at school, whatever. I also played Yokai Watch a lot, which it hasn't released that long ago, I feel like. But I really, really like Yokai Watch. And, you know, being a weeb, I love Japanese folklore. So I thought that was really cool that we managed to get one of the most popular Japanese franchises over to the States. But I will say I don't think it was as embraced as Pokemon and even Digimon, because people thought it was a copy, which it is not. But it is definitely probably one of my more favorite titles on the DS, the 3DS.
Yeah, it's a really cool title that still, it's like, it has that quirkiness that you want. It is.
It's super quirky. And
have you seen the screenshots for the one on Switch? Because it looks amazing.
No, I have not, but
I'm going to have to link you to them. It looks so good.
Definitely will, because I will be getting it for the Switch then. I did get Bravely Default, which I felt like was a super cut and dry RPG, like you said earlier, but it just was enough to keep you busy. Like, it was one of those things that you play as you're multitasking, because I don't feel like I was even really invested in the story of Bravely Default or the characters as much as I just was for the gameplay and just playing an RPG.
And it looked really cool.
And it was beautiful. Yeah, it was super beautiful. And the music's great. And then I did play Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance on the 3DS before it was later ported to the PlayStation 4.
So no spoilers. Is this the definitive way to play it?
No, I do feel like you probably would benefit from playing the remake or on the PlayStation 4. It's not even a remake, but just because it kind of fills in the blanks, not spoiling anything, but they do have a feature in this port, the most recent port, that just is like, oh yeah, remember this and why this is like this, in it as well. So it probably is beneficial to be playing Dream Drop Distance on the PlayStation 4 if you can.
Wait, so I was going to play it on 3DS.
You were going to play it on 3DS? I mean, not that you shouldn't be, but
I'm playing Birth by Sleep on a PSP Go right now.
Are you really?
Yeah, that's how I was playing it on vacation. I didn't bring my PS4 with me.
Oh, well, hot dog.
I'm like...
Look at you going OG.
Like OG.
Yeah, you are. I'm impressed. Yeah,
Yeah, so so when I was saying I couldn't beat that boss, I was using that stupid little nub, not an analog stick.
Right. Well, that's even
probably
worse.
part of the reason.
I mean, it's still hard whether you're playing on PS4 or the
why was that boss
PSP.
so hard? Like, I don't even know. Like,
I don't even know. That's the only boss I had trouble on as
Terra,
well.
I had a little bit of trouble with the final boss.
You're right.
But then all I did was I went back and I just like leveled up 3 levels and it was fine.
That was the ticket. Darn you, Dream Drop or Birth by Sleep, which is still probably my favorite.
Joe, you should
Kingdom
play
Hearts
that.
Dream Drop
That's
Distance
probably
is
the best
great.
one that I've played so far.
Yes.
I'm in the middle of Aqua's route right now.
Aqua's
like the only character I really like in that game. Sorry, I'm kind of like sidelining this. Like,
no, get back on track.
We can talk about Kingdom Hearts in the next episode, but I do want to talk more about Kingdom Hearts, man. Okay. I always want to talk about Kingdom Hearts. Anyway, so from that we went to the PlayStation Vita, which released February 15th, 2012. The lifespan for this sucker was not very long, but it is very beloved, I believe, amongst all of us. And I'm sorry Eric can't join us for this episode because I know he's a big collector as well for the Vita titles. But let's start off with you, Mr. Joey, on your Vita mems.
Alright, so this was another portable console I was really excited about because, like, on paper and on picture and as advertised, I think this is the best portable system that exists at the moment. And I think I've probably put most of my gaming hours, even over a long life of gaming, into the Vita, just with the type of games and enjoyment I got from it. So I got a release date also with the crappy little 8GB memory card because they were so stupid and did proprietary memory again. And a few of my favorite games were Danganronpa. That game kind of like blew my mind.
It's so good.
And then there were plenty of dungeon crawlers that exist for the Vita, so I really enjoyed Demon Gaze. I think that's kind of that team's like greatest achievement is probably Demon Gaze.
I think that's the best classic dungeon crawler on the Vita.
Yeah, I put Dungeon Travelers 2 at number 2.
Oh. Mary Skelter's pretty good too. That was probably up there.
Mary Skelter hasn't drawn me in yet. And then I have to credit the Vita for getting me into rhythm games because I was into Taiko Drum Master and I was into DDR a little bit, but Project Diva really like had me invested in getting better at a rhythm game. And then I played a lot of Senran Kagura, and I finally got to play Persona 4 thanks to Persona 4 Golden getting made. And I feel, although I like Persona 3 better because I kind of like a grittier mood to things. Persona
DC
4
kid.
Persona 4 is really good.
Persona 4 is great.
Persona 4 is just a little bit too colorful and like it feels like
the best. It's like all your friends to the heart, man.
It feels like modern-y, but also 70s-ish, and I hate the 70s as an era. So
that's the point, is because it's like when you go to those old towns and it's like stuck in time.
Loved it.
That's the best.
But I do like the storyline in it. It's very dark, and it makes you care about your little adopted sister. What about you, Courtney? What
Oh, we're passing it to me. Why don't we give it to Matt first? I'll close this out. So.
Oh, hold on. I gotta bring up the thing.
Just because if it's passed to me, I'm gonna end up skipping Matt again.
So I also got really into Danganronpa. I also played a lot of the Zero Escape game. That's actually something I forgot to bring up on DS, but that 999 was probably like my most played DS game. I played the heck out of that. So playing
that game's hokey.
Sequel, Zero Escape, was very fun. Another thing that I played a lot of PSP games digitally on Vita, and so I got into the Falcom games through Vita. So I started playing the East games, starting with the very first East 1 and 2, and played through East Origins. I actually played East Origins on PS4, but the Vita is what got me into it. And I have since beaten East Memories of Celceta and East Oath and Felghana, which is 3 and 4 remakes. And that kind of got me into, I was like, wow, this is a really cool game, cool company. I hear a lot of good things about the Trails games. Let me try those. So I also played Trails in the Sky 1 and 2 there, and Trails of Cold Steel 1, and I'm in the middle of 2. So I really got into, I'm pretty invested in Falcom now. The last great RPG maker of our time. It's true.
They do a lot, and I'll say that I think if I play Trails in the Sky, I'm hoping to be blown away, but Cold Steel didn't do it for me.
Cold Steel 1 did it for me. Cold Steel 2, like I'm cringing a lot.
Yeah, but I Cold Steel 1, yeah, it did it for me, and then the stupid skates came out, and I was like, nope, can't do this.
So,
but we're going down.
That's huge spoilers, but that's like my genre. So I was alright.
Just saying skates in general doesn't mean anything. But anyways,
but yeah, I hear that. You need to play the Trails games.
I do. I've never played them.
Really?
Yeah.
Let's sidebar conversation after this podcast.
Okay, perfect.
We're just gonna guilt you into playing all these games.
I wish you would. Is that all your games, Matt?
Yeah.
Don't sound sad about it.
It's fine.
It's fine.
It's hard to encompass your gaming life so quickly.
Well, yeah,
it is.
Like, there's so much more. Like, the Vita, I probably have the most. Like, I've played tons of games on Vita. I just can't even.
It seems
so
to,
many
to
I
be
can't
the,
even think
the
of.
system. I agree.
Yeah, I'm gonna be playing the Vita for years longer.
I'm still playing the Vita. I have 2. Sometimes I just don't want that OLED screen, and I want it to be light, and so I just go to the new one.
Yeah, last time we went to Japan, I actually considered buying another Vita just because, number one, they have all those
the cool
exclusive Japanese Vitas.
Yep.
And
I got the
Vita's
pink
such a
and
good
black
system.
one that I bought off Joey.
Oh, that's excellent. So I'm jealous.
And I have the OG.
So yeah, I also am a huge Vita fan, and I don't believe I bought the Vita on release day because I didn't have the money. But I did get it pretty soon, maybe a couple months after, not that far from release. I got Tearaway and Gravity Rush. Tearaway hit me at a really dark time in my life, not to be really moody, but it was just the right amount of fun and quirky and lighthearted, and it really utilized the touchpad on the back of the Vita, which I feel like a lot of games other than possibly Gravity Rush really used.
That's because it was a bad choice.
It wasn't the best choice, but I still thought it was a really neat concept. It's like that touchpad in the middle of the PlayStation 4 remote that nobody uses.
That is that is like the only game that uses it well, though.
Right. And Tearaway did a great job with it. And again, it was a fun, adorable game. I have nothing bad to say about it. It definitely is probably one of my favorites, which is really bizarre considering my tastes. But Gravity Rush, again, was another beautiful title that I would love to play on the PlayStation 4 since I know they re-released it. And then I also played Persona 4 Golden on the Vita, which was my first Persona game, and probably my favorite Persona game, though I have not beaten 3, so I can't really speak for it completely, but I like Persona 4 more than I like 5.
Yeah, that's because it is better.
It's just, I like the characters, and it is fun and happy and bubbly, and that's just kind of
I like
my
1
style.
and like 5 more than I do.
Right, me too.
Like, I wish it was as good as I want it to be.
Yeah, I
Persona 4 is as good as I want it to be, though.
Yes, and 5 isn't bad. It's just not what I was thinking. And then also en route of Persona 4, I got Persona 4 Dancing All Night on the Vita, which is what branched me into playing Vita rhythm games that I would later pick up Project Diva, like you, Joey. But Dancing All Night is really kind of what got me into it, because I was like, wow, rhythm games can be really fun on this handheld. Like, I love that idea. So, really enjoyed that. And then Dead or Alive Extreme 3, I ended up porting to, or not porting, but ordering it from overseas, because I'm importing it because I loved Dead or Alive Extreme on the Xbox original, so I followed in suit.
So good. A masterpiece.
It really is. It's so good. So yeah, that's the Vita is a great system, and there's definitely more games I could talk about, and I am also still playing games on it. A lot of Otome games have been released recently on the Vita, which is amazing for someone like me who is a female dating sim lover, but I love dating sims for this caters to women.
You just want to get with the dudes too?
Yeah, I want to get with the dudes and the girls. So I want the best of both worlds, and this caters to that niche. So yes. So I've picked up a lot of titles recently that are Otome on the Vita, and I'm sad to see that.
I hear that it's Code
closing. Realize
is supposed to be good.
It was ported to the PlayStation 4 as well, but I definitely think there's something to be said about a handheld system. It is really good, though.
Oh no, I like playing visual novels better on the handheld.
Me too.
Ooh, I forgot to mention.
Muv-Luv, man.
Steins Gate.
Oh, Steins Gate too.
Oh yeah.
And Muv-Luv.
All these Vita games.
Yep. We could spend a whole episode on Vita.
And maybe we should. But on that note, before we continue, guys, I want to point out the time. Okay. So I think that we will be ending this episode on the Vita, which is the end of the 7th generation of gaming. Next episode, we'll be talking about the 8th gen, which is our current generation. So hopefully you guys will tune in again for the next episode, which will be episode 41. Stay tuned for that, and ride out the rest of this adventure with us.
Stay envious, my friends. You can find us on Spotify, iTunes, Google Play, and YouTube. Also, a few other places that you can find podcasts, I think. Or online at geekenvy.podbean.com. We're also on Instagram and Twitter at Geek Envy.
Recently.
Twitter's new, so go friend us up there and
Talk to
give us some little tweets. Comments, suggestions, questions, etc. You can feel free to email us at askgeekenvy@gmail.com. We do actually check this email. We haven't seen a lot come in, and it makes us sad.
Boo-hoo, email us.
Say goodbye, everyone.
Have a good night, folks.